challenge started actually on the 8th of March in 2021, when I formally started as the TDEU head. And from there, grew into the EMEA talent development head for TikTok and ByteDance. Growing my team, but really just having a bit of that agile mindset, using lots of ways to communicate on a consistent basis, using TikToks to share with each other and find out what people are liking and not liking is also quite important. But there was also this change of building this talent development function for the EMEA space. A lot of change, lots of different ways of doing things, lots of new people, some great experiences. And then the 1st of December happened, and we had a town hall, a global town hall for our talent development team. And we were told that the talent development global function was basically being made redundant. Now, in any organization, that is quite a shock. However, in a startup organization, which I did sign up for, I also knew that these are the kind of things that might potentially happen. You never know what changes are going to come your way. So looking at the change curve, I went through that sort of denial into acceptance phase pretty quickly, I think within the first hour. Coming from South Africa, we're very solutions orientated. So it's like, this is the problem. What is that solution? But underlying that, I also have my own personal philosophy. And that is, when something happens in life which is different or unexpected, you just shout out plot twist and write your own story and how the next part of it is going to end. Because nobody is going to come and save you. You are the hero of the story. You are the author of that story, and you need to write what that next part looks like. And what that really meant was, number one, I had built up some wonderful connections and relationships with people in the business, and had done a lot of collaborating with other teams in the business. And so when that happened, some of the teams reached out and they said, we really enjoy working with you, Theresa, and your team, because my team is a super important part. What can we do? And my focus at that moment in time was actually about my team and helping my team to actually get other jobs and roles and positions. I was able to get, for the majority of them, there was just one who's based in Dubai, which very sadly, there wasn't any other openings or positions that we can move her into. But that was the most important thing for me, was to really just look after my team first. And then I had one of the other teams saying, Theresa, we've worked with you and we really want to keep you on. And now I don't just have a EMEA role, I've got a global role within the organization. So change, these things that come out of left field, can sometimes be completely different, but it's also about what is the opportunity. It all starts with the culture in terms of how we do things, how we look at things, and how we approach things. One of the things which is super interesting is context over control. And that really helps with that agility mindset, is what is the context that this is happening in? So if we reflect back on the changes that happened with the global teams, the context was moving into a different way of doing things. We're moving from a global centers of excellence and rather moving it into functional centers of excellence. Oh, now that we've got the context, we can understand the decisions that are made. And that always day one mentality means that if I'm going to do something, and if our teams are going to do something, and it's something we've never done before, run a quick, short pilot. Figure out what works, what doesn't work, iterate. So it's one of those where you don't spend 9, 10, 12 months trying to make everything absolutely perfect. So yes, this project was my idea, but so what? You've got 10 other ideas. So if this doesn't work, we can try something else. Another way of doing that is we did some training on practical case studies, but using design thinking methodology. And breaking down the design thinking methodology so it's not so super technical, because it can be if you allow it to be. And this is how we think. This is what the problem is. And within a short space, an hour and a half, 2 hours, we've already got some working prototypes. Excellent. What are those prototypes? Go out there, go and test them. So in the training, not only do we take real life case studies and use sort of the design thinking process, but when they walk out of it, they've already got something that they can go and test and come back and tell us whether it works or not. Also, another important thing is just the speed of change that happens. We don't always have time to now take many, many months to try and figure things out. Getting those groups together, collaborating across different groups is a very important thing. And that is also where we spent quite a bit of time on. I don't think we've got it 100% right, because we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always wanting to do it better. But spending time on how do we collaborate, particularly in a global organization.